Hello and welcome back to English with Tom. Now, I've been living abroad in Russia for more than 5 years now, and overall it's been a really positive experience. But living in another country isn't always easy. Now, in today's video, we're going to look at some of the main advantages and disadvantages of living abroad. I'll also be sharing with you a few personal experiences to help you understand what it's really like. Before we continue, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever lived abroad or would you like to? Please let me know in the comments. For me, the biggest advantage of living abroad is the sense of adventure and excitement it brings. At the beginning, living in another country can feel very intimidating. You arrive in a completely new environment. You may not know anyone, you might not speak the language well, and the culture can feel very different from what you're used to. This was exactly my experience when I first moved to Moscow more than 5 years ago. I didn't have any friends to meet. I spoke only a small amount of Russian, and many aspects of daily life felt very unfamiliar. The first few months were particularly difficult. I remember waking up on freezing mornings, sometimes with temperatures of -15 degrees, feeling completely lost in a huge city without my usual support network, and occasionally wondering why I had made the decision to move. However, it's important to really persevere and remember the reasons why you moved abroad. Over time, things begin to change. You start to meet people, the language becomes easier to understand, and gradually the culture becomes more familiar. Through this process, you naturally experience many new adventures. You might explore places you would never have visited otherwise, attend events to meet new people, or even join language classes where you can develop new friendships. These experiences really push you outside your comfort zone, and this is often where the greatest personal growth happens. Now, when I look back, I realized that living abroad has really helped me develop in ways that would have been unlikely if I'd stayed back at home in my home country. Another major advantage of living abroad is the opportunity to meet new and interesting people. Very often, the people you meet in an international environment have unusual backgrounds or maybe unique reasons for moving to another country. Many are curious about different cultures, maybe they're motivated to learn new languages, or perhaps they're working in very specialized professional roles. I particularly noticed this while living in Russia. Many Western expats move here, do so for very specific reasons. Some have a strong interest in Russian culture, others want to develop their language skills, and some arrive because of distinctive career opportunities. Now, in general, people who choose to live abroad tend to be open-minded and willing to embrace new experiences. This can make social interactions with them especially interesting and rewarding. Another positive aspect of the expat community in Moscow is that it is relatively small. As a result, when you do meet someone from a similar background, it is often easier to build friendships quickly. Personally, I have found it easier to form meaningful friendships here than I sometimes did in the UK. In fact, some of my closest friends today are people that I met after moving to Moscow. The final advantage I'd like to talk about is the opportunity to learn a new language and discover a different culture. In my experience, one of the most effective ways to learn a language is through regular communication with native speakers. When you live abroad, especially in a country where relatively few people speak your first language, you are naturally encouraged to develop your language skills. Now, some expats choose to learn only the basics, maybe enough to order food, enough road signs, just basically to manage everyday situations. Now, This is practical, but I personally believe it is also a missed opportunity. Living in another country gives you the rare chance to become truly immersed in a language. You hear it daily, you can use it in real, everyday interactions, and gradually you will become more confident in expressing yourself. At the same time, you also gain a deeper understanding of the local culture. This includes history, cuisine, traditions, art, and architecture. Over time, these cultural experiences can become some of the most memorable aspects of living abroad. During the past 5 years, I've had the opportunity to travel to many different parts of Russia, including cities such as St. Petersburg, Vladivostok, Sochi, and Murmansk. Each place has offered something unique, and every visit helped me to learn something new about the country. Now let's look at some of the disadvantages of living abroad. One of the biggest challenges, and something many people experience, is not being able to see family and close friends as often as they would like. Of course, when you move to a new country, you will gradually build new relationships and social connections. Some people even start families of their own abroad. However, there will almost always be important people from your life back home who you will miss. In the modern world, technology makes it easier to stay in touch. Social media allows us to share moments from our lives, and messaging apps such as Telegram and WhatsApp make it possible for us to have video calls with those who we love. Nevertheless, in my opinion, digital communication can never fully replace the experience of spending meaningful time together in person. Another difficulty is that you may miss important life events. These could include birthdays, weddings, celebrations, or other significant occasions. Instead of participating directly, you sometimes experience these moments from a distance through photos or videos online. Now, another possible disadvantage of living abroad is gradually losing touch with your home country. Now, what do I mean by this? Simply that the longer you live in another country, the more distant your own country can begin to feel. You may notice that you are less familiar with current events, cultural trends, or everyday changes just happening there. Of course, this is not necessarily negative for everyone. Some people, they move abroad because they feel less connected to their home country to begin with. Sometimes when I return, I notice that certain aspects of daily life feel slightly unfamiliar. I may feel less aware of recent developments in society, media, or popular culture. Although your home country will always remain part of your identity, and you can usually return whenever you wish, there can still be moments when you feel that you are missing out on experiences taking place in your home country. The final disadvantage I'd like to mention is closely related to the previous one: missing specific aspects of life in your home country. From conversations with British friends here in Russia, I know that many people miss things such as milder winters, traditional British pubs, or the opportunity to watch their favourite football team play regularly in the stadium. In my own case, there are certain everyday things that I miss as well. For example, I sometimes miss British supermarkets and particular foods that are difficult to find abroad. I also miss aspects of the natural environment, especially in the countryside and the walking trails that are so common in many parts of the UK. These may seem like small details, but over time, they can contribute to a sense of nostalgia for the place you grew up in. So, overall, living abroad can be both exciting and challenging. On the one hand, it offers opportunities for adventure, personal growth, language learning, and meaningful connections. But on the other hand, it can involve emotional difficulties, such as being far away from loved ones, being disconnected from your home country. Ultimately, the experience is deeply personal and depends on your mindset, goals, and willingness to adapt. Now, I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. Would you like to live abroad, or have you already had this experience? Please let me know in the comments, and if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content to help you develop your English.